everybody. My name is Austin. I'm going to be your safari guide today out here on the Wildlife Reserve. Now, some safety things to keep in mind while we're out here. Make sure to keep those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. And make sure everybody stays fully seated. Now, while we're out here, we do ask that you please do not shout, scream, whistle, or make any animal noises towards the animals out here on the reserve. As we are entering their home, we want to be respectful towards them, and any loud, unusual noises could scare them off. But now we're going to get started out here in the Little Ituri Forest. Out here, the animals like to use their natural colors to blend in with the thicker vegetation that's around them. And they tend to be pretty shy and reclusive. So we're going to keep an eye out, see if we can spot as we make our way through here. It looks like over on the right-hand side, we are going to start with the okapi out there. And the okapi, with their hind legs being striped, tends to trick everyone into thinking they're a close relative of the zebra, when in reality, they're actually a pretty close relative of the giraffe, as they have a similarly shaped head as a giraffe, as well as the long tongues giraffes are known for having. Now, the okapi is a very shy animal. They're well known throughout Central Africa, but to anyone outside of Africa, they didn't actually know the okapi existed until about 1901. Beforehand, they were actually considered to be mythological creatures, even getting nicknamed the African unicorn. That's how many people thought they weren't real. We'll keep making our way forward here to see what else we can find. So it looks like way out in the distance on our left side there is a black rhino out there. The black rhino is the smallest of the rhinos in Africa, weighing somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 pounds once fully grown. They are known for their front triangular lip, which is prehensile, meaning finger-like. So they'll use that lip to help grab at their food as they browse around the forest. Another one up here on the hill to our left-hand side. Now, they are solitary animals, so you will typically find them living on their own. But you can occasionally find females living in a small group just with their offspring, and sometimes the territory of the males will overlap with each other, so sometimes you can find them nearby one another. Continue moving along, see what else might be hiding in the forest here. Let's see. So, not spotting anything else as we're reaching the edge of the forest, so we'll go ahead and start to make our way on out of the forest and into the next section of the reserve, known as the Safi River. Now, the Safi River is going to be home to animals that like to stay in or around the water most of the time. So we're going to keep an eye on the water as we make our way along the river. See if we can find anything swimming around while we're out here. Looks like we got a little bit of traffic as we're starting to make our way out onto the river here. Might have been some animals blocking the path a bit further ahead on the reserve, so it seems to be moving though, so I'm not too worried about it. So let's see, as we approach the water here, it looks like on our right hand side we are going to come across the pink-backed pelican. The pink-backed pelican, as you can probably guess from their names, are well known for their pink backs. Their backs will actually get brighter during their mating season. Now, they are colonial nesters, so you can find them living in groups of pairs, anywhere between 20 to about 250 pairs in a single group. So you can find up to about 500 of them all together. Looks like we'll spot another pelican here on the right-hand side, and then on the left-hand side, looks like we'll come across some Nile hippos just behind the island there. Now, a group of these hippos is known as a bloat. They can hold their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time, and that even includes while they're sleeping. Now, they do have the ability to swim, but you're going to find for the most part that they actually like to run or walk along the riverbed, as it'll help save their energy. They do also grow some pretty large incisors in their mouth. They can get up to about 18 inches long on average. They don't use those incisors to help eat their food, as they only tend to eat grass. It's actually used to help defend themselves. They are very territorial animals. Keep moving along, see if anything else might be hiding along the river here. Let's see. looks like there is a Nile crocodile down there in the water. Kind of hard to see them. I barely saw the top of their head down there. The Nile crocs are capable of growing anywhere between 10 to 20 feet long. They are known to be very loving parents. They'll actually hold their eggs in their mouths and slowly roll them around to help their youngling hatch. But we made it to the end of the river. We're making our way towards the largest section of the reserve, which is the savanna. Savanna is going to be home to the animals you think of most when you think of African animals, such as giraffes and zebras. However, there are many animals that call the savanna their home, some of which you may have never even seen or heard of before. So we're going to make our way down off of the overlook, see if we can spot while we're down there. Just got a little more of this traffic here. Now, as we make this turn up ahead here, we are going to spot this funny looking tree. It'll be on our right hand side as we make this turn. Kind of looks like it's been planted upside down. It is meant to look like this. It's known as the baobab tree. And the reason it has that upside down appearance is because it actually won't grow any leaves for roughly 9 months out of the year in an effort to conserve its own water, which is also why the trunk of the tree is so large, so it can store and hold as much water as possible. That way it can survive any droughts that might happen. We'll start to make our way down onto the savanna itself to see what we can find. Looks like we'll spot a couple of animals out here. It'll be easier to see them once we fully make it down off this hill. But there are some Hartmann's mountain zebras out here, as well as it looks to be some Ankole cattle. They'll be on our right side kind of as we finish making this turn here. You'll see them just out in the distance over there. Now for the Hartmann's mountain zebras, those stripes are unique to each of them, just like our fingerprints are unique to each of us. So they're able to tell each other apart just from those stripes alone. And the Ankole cattle out there does have some pretty large horns. Each of their horns get up to about 3 to 4 feet in length. But they don't actually weigh that much. Their horns are only about 10 pounds each. And that's because on the inside their horns have a honeycomb-like structure that keeps them hollow and light. And it looks like way off in the distance there to your right, you might spot that Maasai giraffe in the distance. Pretty easy to spot them far away as they stand anywhere between 16 to 20 feet tall. Well, we'll be getting a bit closer to them, so if you can't really see them, don't worry. They'll be coming up here soon enough. In the meantime, we'll keep an eye out for any other animals out here. Let's see. Not seeing anything else at the moment here, so we'll just keep moving along once we can. Looks like we might be stopped for some animals in the road up ahead somewhere. Yeah, sounds like there's some animals in the road up ahead here. So we're just going to hang tight. Hopefully they clear out shortly. Sounds like there's still some animals in the road a bit further ahead. sounds like we're still in the road. I believe it's some of the Ankole cattle a bit further ahead on the path. I can't really tell exactly where. I think it's up ahead on our right somewhere, but kind of hard to see in the position we ended up in here. Not too much around us. Make sure we are staying in our seats for me, friends. I know we're stopped right now, but I do got to keep everyone in their seats just for safety reasons.
That's the one you want to do. And the wrap.
He said he is going to do something today.
Well, it'll be after you get that, right?
And then we have to go to Lionel.
So we're still held up here. I believe one of our wardens is going to start trying to make their way over here to try to help out with probably some extra food. That's normally the easiest trick. So hopefully it won't be too long now, but do appreciate everyone's patience while we're kind of stuck waiting here. Looks like they actually have cleared out of the road on their own. So we'll be able to get moving again, which also means we should be able to get a better look at these animals we've seen just in the distance here. So you can see some more Ankole cattle on your right. You can also see this sable antelope here in that taller grass or taller bushes there. Now the sable antelope, you'll notice their horns kind of curve in an arc towards their backside. Now they're going to use those horns to help defend themselves from anything trying to jump onto them. They're actually one of the few animals out here on the savannah that will actually stand their ground and fight back against would-be predators. On your left, you're going to spot some Maasai giraffes again. Now the reason we know these are Maasai giraffes are from those patches on their coat is their patches are very rough and jagged, and that's what will set them apart from the other species of giraffe. Get a really good look at the Ankole cattle here on our left-hand side. It really shows you how large those horns are. Now, the Ankole cattle is also known as the Watusi cattle, as they were first domesticated by the Watusi tribe in Africa. They kept them as a sign of wealth due to how large their horns could get. So the more they had, the wealthier they were. A couple more sable antelopes there on the left-hand side. Now for the Ankole cattle, their horns are not just that large for decoration. They do actually serve a purpose. It's to help them regulate their body temperatures. You see, they have a lot of blood vessels that flow through their horns. So as the blood goes into their horns, it can cool off. That way, as it goes back into their body, it'll keep them at a more comfortable temperature.
You were just thinking that, Paul? Is that what you said? Oh my God.
Spot another Ankole cattle here on the right-hand side, and then it looks like we'll also spot some more Hartmann's mountain zebras. We'll see them on the left, and then they will be on our right-hand side as we kind of continue along here. Now for the Hartmann's mountain zebras, everyone always wants to know if they're black with white stripes or white with black stripes. Well, the answer is actually on their noses. As we pass them by here, you're going to notice that their noses are black, which actually gives us the answer that the zebras are black with white stripes. And a group of them is known as a dazzle. Now running out there in the distance, you're also going to spot some wildebeest running around right into those bushes out there. Now the wildebeest are well known for their migrating habits. On average every year, about 1.5 million wildebeest will migrate anywhere between 500 and 1,000 miles. Now when they're migrating, since there's so many of them, the dust cloud that they kick up can actually be viewed from outer space. see what else could be out here. And it looks like at the top of the hill to our right, kind of hard to see them. There are some springboks up there. They're quite small. They only grow to be 2 to 3 feet tall. But they are well known for their ability to jump. They can jump up to about 6 feet high or up to 13 feet forward while they're running. Might be out here though. Not seeing too much else in this area of the savannah. So we're going to start to make our way towards another area of the savannah. And as we do, I am starting to notice a lot more trees being knocked over, which is typically a good sign that you're entering elephant territory, as elephants are going to knock trees over as a way to get to the food at the top of them. So we'll keep an eye out, see if we can spot any of them while we're out here. Let's see, as we make our way in. Not noticing anything else. And actually, it looks like on your right-hand side, you are going to come across the African elephant. We'll get a better view as well here in just a moment. Now, the African elephant is well known for that trunk of theirs. Their trunk is prehensile, meaning finger-like. So you use that trunk to help grab at things like their food to bring up to their mouth. They will also use their trunks to grab dirt and mud to toss onto their backside, as they are known to have very sensitive skin, and the dirt and the mud will act like a natural sunscreen for them throughout the day. Now, our conservation team actually learned that because of the elephant's sensitive skin, that they're actually scared of bees. You see, farmers in Kenya have been having trouble with elephants raiding their crops due to human encroachment on elephant territory, and unfortunately they've been turning to poaching the elephants to keep them away. So to help out those elephants and to help out those farmers, our team told them to start planting some beehives on the edges of their fences. That way, as the elephants got closer, they would hear those bees using their keen sense of hearing. They would actually steer clear of the farm, saving the farmer their crops, which would in turn save the elephants from being poached. Even gave the farmers the added benefit of being able to sell the honey that the bees produced. Now, as we continue forward here, it looks like we're passing through some red clay. Now, the red clay does have a lot of minerals in it, which is nutritious to most animals' diet. So sometimes you're going to find animals down here eating away at the clay itself. Not really spotting any down here, but it does look like there's some elephant tusk marks there on the right side. Possibly from that elephant we saw back behind us, but keep an eye out. It looks like there's another one over here on the left-hand side. Let's see if we can get a better view of them up ahead. Looks like there'll be a couple out here on the left-hand side, so should get a good view. Might just spot the tops of them here, but once we round this next corner, shouldn't be too much blocking our view. Now, the African elephant does live in a matriarch society, which means they are led by an older female of the group. And a herd of the elephants is usually made up of mostly female elephants. That's because once the males reach a certain age, they'll actually leave the herd and live most of their adult lives on their own. But they will occasionally join back up with a herd. So you can see them out here on our left-hand side as we continue along. Now, on hotter days, you are going to find these elephants flapping their ears quite a lot, and it is to help cool themselves off, but probably not in the way you would expect, as they have a lot of blood vessels on the back side of their ears, so as they're flapping their ears, they're actually cooling off that blood. That way it'll keep them at a more comfortable temperature. We'll make our way around the edge of the water, see what else could be out here. It looks like just a bit further ahead here, we are going to come across some greater flamingos out here. Now, the greater flamingos are well known for that pink color. They do get that color from their diet. Their diet consists of brine shrimp, which is high in beta-carotene. That beta-carotene is what will turn their feathers that pink color. Now, the greater flamingos are the largest of the flamingos, as well as the lightest colored of the flamingos. And a group of them is known as a flamboyance. We're going to make our way into one more area of the savannah to see what else we can find, as we've had some pretty good luck so far. So hopefully that'll continue as we make our way through here. And it looks like we'll be off to a pretty good start right as we enter on in here. We're going to come across some white rhinos. Now the white rhinos are the largest of the rhinos, weighing somewhere between 4,000 to 5,000 pounds once fully grown. Now they are known to have very sensitive skin, so as you can see, they'll roll around in mud walls to help protect their skin from the sun throughout the day, as that mud will act like that natural sunscreen for them. Now the white rhinos did actually get their name from a mistranslation. The Dutch Afrikaans word for them was wijd rhino, which stood for wide, as they have a very wide mouth. However, English translators misheard the word white for the color white, hence they are now known as the white rhinos. You can see I'm resting here in the mud wall right now on the left side. We'll keep moving along, see what else is hiding out here. I believe I can spot something just a bit further ahead here. Looks to be a cheetah up ahead here. They're going to be on our left-hand side. Now the cheetah is the fastest land mammal on Earth. They can get to speeds up to 60 miles an hour in just under 3 seconds. Now they can't hold that top speed for very long, only roughly a few hundred yards before they start to slow down. They do also have some black streaks that run from the inside of their eyes down to their mouth. That's to help with the sun's glare throughout the day. And now we're going to make our way around the Kopi Rock Formation up ahead here. This rock formation is going to be used by all sorts of animals as a way to survey the nearby area, as it provides a nice elevated lookout spot. So we'll circle around, see if we can spot anything, though not seeing anything just yet. So we'll head around to the other side. Maybe we'll spot something over there. And it does look like here on the left-hand side we are going to come across the African lion. This is a female African lion. If she doesn't have that mane, the males will grow. Now they're typically going to be found resting. They sleep for about 16 to 20 hours a day. If you actually listen, sounds like the male lion's back there somewhere. Like I said, they're going to sleep for about 16 to 20 hours a day. That's not because they're lazy, it's because they're nocturnal. They're going to do all their hunting at night. As during the day, their vision is about on par with us, whereas at night they have 6 times better vision than us. Now when it comes to their hunts, it is the female lion that'll typically do all the hunting for the pride. The males will occasionally join in on that hunt, but the male's job is to actually stay back and defend the pride while the females are gone hunting. We'll keep making our way along, and it looks like here on the left, you just spot that warthog up there. They're walking behind that tree up at the top here. The warthog is a burrowing animal, but they're not typically going to dig their own burrows. They'll use naturally occurring ones, as well as ones left abandoned by other burrowing animals. Now, whenever they go into their burrows, they will back into them. That way their sharp tusks are always facing outwards, just in case they need to defend themselves. Now look at the white rhino out here on the right side. The white rhinos do have some pretty poor eyesight. They can only see about 10 to 15 feet in front of them, so they heavily rely on their sense of hearing and sight and their smell to understand their surroundings. Let's see, it looks like you can still spot the warthog on your left, just near that large rock over there. But I do believe that's going to be our last sighting out here, as we have made it to the edge of the savanna. We're going to make our way into the last and final section of the reserve, known as the Magadi Glen. Now the Glen's going to be home to our warden's outpost, and I know our warden has a herd of goats, but I'm not sure if they're going to be out and about. So we'll swing past the outpost, see if we're able to spot them before we make our way on back to the village. Let's see as we make our way down here. It looks like they will be out front here. So they're going to be on our left-hand side. So we're going to come across some Nigerian dwarf goats out here. Now they only grow to be about 2 feet tall, which does make them the second smallest species of goat in the world. So even though they look quite small, that is them fully grown. They do have a great sense of balance, which makes them excellent climbers. And they are known to be very social animals. However, they will spend most of their day just eating and resting. But now, unfortunately, these gates here do mark the end of the reserve. But that's not the end of all the amazing animals you can find out there in the wild. do encourage you, if you saw some of your favorites out here today, or